Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. I'm Nur Airin binti Samsudin. I'm a student in Master of Tropical Fisheries from University Malaysia Terengganu. This video presentation is my first assignment for Advanced Fisheries Microbiology subject. So I have chosen two topics individually, which is current issues in fisheries microbiology that relate to climate change and fermented seafood. The first video I will present is about climate change. Climate change is real. Climate change is a change in the pattern of weather and related changes in ocean, land surface, and ice sheet occurring over time scales or decade or longer. Climate change is determined by many factors that influence flow of energy through the climate system, including role of human activity and greenhouse gases. The gases produced are carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. From the picture showed, greenhouse gases are gases that can trap heat. They get their name from the greenhouse, which is a greenhouse is full of window that let the sunlight in. So the sunlight create warmth, and the big trick of a greenhouse is doesn't let that warmth to escape. So that's exactly how greenhouse gases act. They let sunlight pass through the atmosphere, but they prevent the heat that the sunlight brings from the leaving the atmosphere. So the light energy, which is white area emitted by sun, warms the earth's surface, which reflect the energy as heat, which is the orange area that warm the atmosphere. Much of the heat captured by greenhouse molecules such as water, carbon dioxide, and methane. The gases to greenhouse effect are water vapor, methane, nitrous oxide, and carbon dioxide. Water vapor accounts for about half the natural greenhouse effect. Its concentration in the atmosphere are controlled mainly by atmospheric temperature and wind. When global average atmospheric temperature rise, global water vapor concentration increase. Particularly important is carbon dioxide. Since the 19th century, human-induced carbon dioxide emission from fossil fuel combustion, cement manufacture, and deforestation have disturbed the balance, adding carbon dioxide to the atmosphere faster than it can be taken up by the land biosphere and the ocean. Total carbon dioxide emission were absorbed by the ocean, making seawater more acidic, and total taken up to land increased nutrient availability and respond to warming and rainfall changes. The other gases of the greenhouse effect are methane and nitrous oxide. This is climate change indicator. As we can see, the red area is a rising indicator while the blue ones is the falling indicator. The effect of climate change are rise in sea level and temperature, strong hurricane, and precipitation pattern change. Sea level rise is the average increase in the level of world ocean and one of the most catastrophic consequences of climate change and is a major threat to coastal habitat. The major causes of global sea rise level are thermal expansion caused by warming of the ocean, which is sinks water expand as it warms and increase melting land-based ice such as glaciers and ice sheet. The impact of sea level rise is increase the acidity, flooding, threat to island nation where there will be a forced migration, threat to several plant and animal, and also disrupt the ecosystem. The rising ocean temperature and acidity makes it more difficult for marine organisms such as shrimp, oyster, or coral to form their shell, which is a process known as calcification. The impact of rise temperature are coral bleaching, reduced aquatic species diversity, seafood contamination, enhanced fishing season, and deteriorate water quality via production of algal bloom. Strong hurricane can and do wreak havoc on coastal marine ecosystem. They destroy coral reef, mix up the water column, redistribute bottom sediment, and increase pollution via stormwater runoff. Hurricane can also cause fish to evacuate near shore estuaries and coastal ocean environment towards deeper water. The entire marine food web is being altered and may result in crack in the food chain. Climate change and the associated shift in primary and secondary production have therefore impact on the distribution range, migratory habit and stock size of many marine fish. The impact of precipitation pattern change are loss of breeding or feeding territories, greater flood and drought risk, shifting habitat and season which is migrating species. The counter management of the climate change is mitigation and adaptation, whereas mitigation is the reducing the climate change and adaptation is adapting to life in a changing climate. This is why climate change important to microbiology because microbes are involved in many processes and in the ocean microbes quite literally determine the effect of greenhouse gases on climate change. In marine environment, microbial primary production contributes substantially to carbon dioxide sequestration. Marine microorganisms also recycle nutrients for use in marine food web and in the process of release carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. In a broad range of terrestrial environment, microorganisms are the key decomposer of organic matter and release nutrients in the soil for plant growth as well as carbon dioxide and methane into atmosphere. 90% of life is microbial. Phytoplankton play the role that green plants on the land, and at sea, phytoplankton are responsible for 50% of all photosynthesis, while fungi and soil bacteria are decomposers that play a major role in the carbon cycle as they break down organic matter and release carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. Last but not least, bacteria and archaea are involved in the cycle of all the essential elements. The role of microbes in climate change cannot be ignored. They play an important role as both user and producer of greenhouse gases. Both natural and human-induced flux of carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide are dominated by microbiology. So the next video presentation is about current issue in fisheries microbiology related to fermented seafood. Fermented seafood, especially fish products, are very popular. This is due to a transformation of organic material into compounds which are simpler by the activity of microorganisms or enzymes that are encountered in fish muscle tissue during the fermentation process. Fermentation is a traditional food preservation method and is widely used for improving food safety, shelf life, and organoleptic and nutritional attribute. It produced and consumed in different parts of the world and integral part of many food culture. Furthermore, fermented seafood are a source of interesting microbes and are an important industry in many countries. The health benefit and safety of fermented seafood are antioxidant activity, anti-hypertensive activity, anti-cancer activity, and anticoagulant activity. The first is antioxidant activity, which is uncontrolled free radicals such as peroxyl, hydroxyl can attack various tissue components leading to a number of pathologies. And antioxidant activity contain high antioxidant that has the potential to be a natural functional ingredient to prevent reactive oxygen species, which is related to chronic disease. And fermented seafood product could be used as potential source of nutrient and natural antioxidant. The second of health benefit and safety fermented seafood is antihypertensive activity, which is it is a source of antihypertensive peptides and it can effectively control blood pressure without any adverse side effect on human health. So next, the third is anti-cancer activity. It is a peptide fraction isolated from anchovy, show the potential to prevent cancer, and it has a strong anti-proliferative effect against the liver hepatocellular carcinoma cell and contain immunomodulatory bioactive. The last health benefit and safety fermented seafood is anticoagulant and fibrinolytic activity, which is anticoagulant and active substances prevent the formation of thrombus by protecting fibrinogen from the action of thrombin. Here is the example of the safety issues with fermented seafood. And this is the example of the microorganism that relate to the fermented seafood. The role of microorganism in fermentation of seafood is producing better and safer fermented seafood products, give stability and keeping quality of the product, and inhibit growth of inactive spoilage and pathogenic microorganisms, also give taste and flavor to the fermented seafood. Fish and molluscan shellfish can be contaminated with natural toxin from the water in which they live, and it can cause consumer illness. And most of these toxins are produced by naturally occurring marine algae. This is the type of toxin, which is there are two natural toxin and additional toxin. So here is where does the toxin come from. For the force shellfish toxin, it is came from clam, oyster, mussel, scallop, and crab. While the chigua toxin is come from marine algae that are eaten by fish and around coral reef. Last but not least is histamine is produced by bacteria in particular type of fish. So here is the control strategy that we need to take for the better and safer any product that we consume in our daily. So that's all from me. And if you guys have any question or suggestion, you can ask me or we can discuss about it. Thank you for watching.